Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker and we all oop. The recession is coming, or it's already here. Luxury brands say, we don't care about it. But then regular folk, I guess economically analyzing underneath the middle class, borderline and lower, can't even afford, as a particular article I just read, McDonald's meals anymore. Now, how do we analyze all of this from a fashion perspective? Let's get into it. Subscribe to my channel here on the tubes. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Get access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon for extra perks. Thank you so much for all my patrons and members who have already pledged. I'm Super Dacob on Patreon as well. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream every Saturday, and you're all invited to join me in the live chats. Cue in the live co-chattors. Hi everybody, and welcome to my live co-conspirators. Listen, there's this article by The Insider that says the wealthy are splurging on Ferraris, Gucci handbags, expensive champagne, while McDonald's customers can't afford combo meals. So when I first read the title of this article, I thought to myself, well, how are the things really connected? I read through the entire article, and I mean, it doesn't offer much insight into why things are happening. And this is where the live chats and the comment section down below comes in really handy. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this for several reasons. One of the reasons being, it is true that many luxury brands during the pandemic, while other smaller companies failed and had to lock down, close, and never reopen after, small businesses failed. Small fashion businesses failed, also parts of the food industry. I mean, a lot of the economy suffered because of the lockdown during the pandemic. But luxury brands did not. You know, Chanel released in 2021 their numbers, and the earnings were ginormous. They were so big that the Wertheimer brothers, got their bonuses paid out, dividends, $5 billion. So $2.5 billion each. Money sent to the Cayman Islands. By the way, everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, just my opinion, not rooted in any facts or truths. It's all just alleged. But so a lot of other luxury brands reported really good numbers in 2021, while other companies started, either closing, failing, or just not doing well, not living a healthy economic life. Now we have these reports of the recession coming along, and then of course there's the situation in Ukraine, and that is also creating even more uncertainties economically for the rest of the world. What is Russia going to do? How is this world going to end in just a year from now, or in just a couple of months from now? And a lot of people who have lost their jobs during the pandemic don't have their jobs anymore. A lot of companies don't want to rehire new people. I mean, there are problems, and yet the rich seem to still keep buying. The luxury brands increase their prices, but the very, very rich do not care. They still keep buying, and these luxury brands have reported record earnings. Now, the record earnings might not be record earnings in the near future because those numbers might collapse. But my question to you is, why do you think the rich still have the money? Why do the rich still keep buying? Aren't the rich worried that things are going to slow down for them as well? So the majority of people are not earning enough money to even pay the rent anymore. And yet the rich still keep the money flowing. It still keeps going. Where does it come from? I have that question. Another question I have, which is very fascinating point in this article, the only kind of big moment of this article to me that was of interest was when LVMH was asked about questions, potential recession, problems with the economy, because they've earned a lot of money and they're still planning on having some sort of growth in the near future, like next year, even though they're not saying, oh, we're not going to get like 20, 30% growth. They're talking more about like in the 5%. But, we also had issues with the lockdowns in China. And this is also why a lot of luxury brands don't get their stock delivered, because Chinese factories are not producing because they're closed because of the pandemic. And they had a very strict lockdown regulation set in place in China, allegedly. So a lot of the luxury, European particularly, luxury brands and shops had to close in China for a long period of time. And Kering Group said that 30% of its China stores were closed in April and May of 2022. LVMH CFO Jean-Jacques Guigny said that sales in China allegedly dropped by heavy double digits in the most recent quarter, but both companies said they were optimistic that business in the region would rebound, however. Kering and LVMH have also expressed cautious optimism that European and American tourists will continue to spend on luxury goods. And here is the interesting part of the article that I want to ask you guys what your thoughts are, because the article doesn't deliver answers. The article asks questions, and Guioni, who, sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly, but basically Guioni is the LVMH CFO. Jean-Jacques Guioni said, allegedly, Guioni said that LVMH doesn't have a particularly gloomy and pessimistic outlook on the US economy. And here comes the interesting point. But it has a plan in place in the event of a more pronounced economic downturn. He also said, my fear is that all these comments about recession and drop in demand would become a self-fulfilling prophecy, he said, allegedly. Now listen, I love my Louis, not just the little teeny tiny pumpkin that Jessie gave me as a gift. Thank you so much, Jessie, my dear friend. Jessie Style, by the way, check out her channel. I got a little squishy pumpkin. I love Halloween. My pumpkin Louis that always loves to sit on all my Louis products because, Louis loves his Louis. But not just that. My question here is this. Why are we not given what this plan is? Why are they not telling us what this plan that LVMH allegedly put into place is? I'm dying to know. So LVMH is saying, we don't think that US economy, European economy, world economy is going to be that bad as a lot of people are saying now. But in case it will be that bad, we have a plan set in place. I'm dying to know what that plan is. Like, what is that plan? Are they going to lower prices? Are they going to introduce more lower quality products, like more entry-level price products? Like, what is, I'm dying to, does anybody know in the chats? Let me know in the comment section down below, because for sure, like, I'm dying to know. But, cool pumpkin, says Barbara. Yeah, it's adorable. Thank you. Alex says they had to close Chinese stores because their third-party contractors couldn't, where is it? Because the third-party contractors couldn't produce the bags anymore. Haha. Right. But, I want to know, like, what's that plan? I feel like they're trying to make as much as they can while they have the chance to do it, hence all the recent price increases. I have a sneaky suspicion that that's also partially what they're doing. But in case the recession hits as hard as people are like glooming and dooming around it, what is that plan that they have, that he says that they allegedly have? I really want to know what that plan would be. Louis Vuitton lipsticks is the plan, says Jane Davenport. Susie Q says people who have money will continue to spend the same way. At least that's what I think. But then my second question is, Susie, where's the money still coming from? If this recession is happening and a lot of sources of income get cut off, even certain rich people will not get money anymore somehow. I don't know. I mean, it's just I'm thinking it's a reactionary chain. One thing leads to the other. Maya Tal, you are so handsome. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. Milica says, hello, everyone. Hi, Milica. It's bull. They're lying, says Tina. Interesting point, you guys. And here, Tina actually really, I think, hits the nail on the head because we are led to believe that everything that these, luxury brands say, and like they have this plan, they have it all worked out, it could all be BS. It could all just be like, oh yeah, we're good to go. We'll go. And then like, girl, you don't really have a plan, do you? It's all about fake it till you make it. This is at least my opinion. For a lot of these brands, that's how it works. They keep kind of either swimming on their own, past victories, and they're kind of still utilizing that story narrative to maintain some sort of credibility that they're really good and that they're amazing brands. But other than that, it's all fiction. This is just my opinion, obviously, but it's a very, very good point, Tina. Skybright says, death, taxes, and Chanel price increases. A classic trifecta, my dear. Classic trifecta. Alex says, the very rich people work for banks, and banks get their money directly from the Federal Reserve, and it keeps printing and printing and printing. Also an interesting point. Blue Bannisters, I seem to recall reading in an article not too long ago that LVMH said they would cut production costs, so maybe less stock or lower quality materials. Also potentially possible, but then like they're all saying like, hey, we proud ourselves in the quality of our heritage of our brand. Like all of a sudden they can't just like reduce quality just like that. I mean, people would notice. I mean, people are already noticing, but if you do it even more drastically, they're going to notice even more. And then the little smiley pumpkin, it ain't going to be that smiley no mo. You're going to be upset. Louis the pumpkin going to be upset. And Trisha says, because of economic uncertainties, I'm not spending my money on big luxury items, trying to save more. Susie Q says, not all rich people work for banks. I worked and inherited my money, says Susie Q. Diana says, exactly, Alex. But Susie Q, okay, so what would you do with your money? I mean, would you keep shopping? Would you keep buying? Even though there's this like fear of this recession, like, should Louis be worried, or should these luxury brands be worried that you're not going to shop with them anymore? Or are you like, no, I don't care. I'm going to keep buying. And I agree with Tina. My bullshit radar is going off, says Cyber Coco. And Silala says, maybe they'll finally admit they manufacture in China and just use that label. Good point, Silala. Alex says to Susie, that's also true. Eventually it becomes self-sustaining. Susie Q says, I do keep shopping, but I'm more discerning in what I purchase. Onyx says, maybe some use luxury goods as investments, which I think is like the worst thing you can do, because I always say a luxury bag is not an investment. Use it. It's an object you use to enjoy in your life, but where does it take us? If economy crumbles so much, nobody's going to want your bag. Nobody's going to want your Birkin or your Kelly for triple the price. You might end up selling your Birkin and your Kelly for $100 just to be able to buy some salt or sugar, because that's the scarcity. That's what we're going to be fighting for. Water, sugar, salt, necessities. And then what? You want to sell your Birkin for $14,000? They're going to be like, I can't eat a Birkin to survive. This is not a Charlie Chaplin movie. So, this is like worst case scenario, right? When the shit hits the fan. Apparently luxury brands are worried about situation in China. Bin Black, as they should be. Maybe some use luxury goods as investments. Red Diamond Susie Q says luxury goods are not investments. That statement makes me crazy. Me too, Susie Q. Alex says, I've been pinning or pining for an Hermès belt lately. It's the only high-end belt I really want. Just says, give it a decade and all of them are going to turn into 5 and below. KDF says, completely agree. Blue Banner says, I feel like the last thing they would do is lower prices. They run risk of altering perceptions of their luxury image, which is really all they have. Trisha says, exactly, Dacob. Barbara says, true. When I die, my Chanel bag will go to the thrift store. Katie says, even that bubble will burst in some circumstances. Joshua says, I'm late. We're talking about recession, darling. And Susie Q says, I watched your video on parents buying bags as investments for their children. I work helping people with college financial aid, and you can't pay for it with a bag. Good point, So is he cute? You guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, especially about what you think the plan is that LVMH has set in place in case the recession does hit as hard as some people are speculating it will. Until next time, don't forget to never give up on love and subscribe.